Part 117. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1174. 3 people were taken directly to the police station. Although they are minors, it is easy for Qin Chen to let them squat in the police station. Consciously frightened by her own daughter-in-law, Qin Chen held her daughter-in-law even while watching the animal world at night. As for the remote control, I'm still not willing to give it to my wife. Yan Ji didn't know the idea in Qin Chen's heart. She really didn't hesitate about the remote control. She took the opportunity to say, I wore this gold bracelet so arrogantly. Maybe someone will grab me in the future. Dad, can you get the bracelet off? Don't be afraid. Qin Chen rubbed Yan Ji's small head. No one dares to treat you like this in the future. Qin Chen talked, and the big brother alarmed the police. For more than a month since then, the school has been specializing in rectifying the small bullies in those schools. Yanj officially stepped into the nickname of Neza from Xiaobeiwa's nickname in school. The flowers on her body and the anklets were all gold. Because of this, many of those boys who have a crush on her are frightened by her nefarious wind. There are still less than half of them, all of which were privately warned by Qin Chen. Yan Ji didn't know that his crushes were scared away by Bear Daddy. She was really frustrated lately. She was such a nice little white flower that she became a little Neza in a blink of an eye. At one point, even the teacher lost her nickname in class. She felt that because of this nickname, the boys who wrote her love letters and the boys who had talked to her were gone. Sad and upset. Especially when she noticed that the pattern on her gold bracelet was not repeated every day, her heart was more depressed. This Qin beast, if he used the mind of carving gold to chase a woman, he would not have to hold the pipe every day. Yanj turned grief and indignation into motivation, and never learned the tale of a crane. Qin Chen has not participated in any parent conference, mainly because she hates being called by his wife-in-law in public. So every time the parent conference directly sends a million red envelopes to Yanj. Of course, do NT forget to give a gift teachers. For 3 years at Yanj High School, Qin Chen's gifts to the head teacher could fill the home of the head teacher, causing the head teacher to worry about being reported all the time. 3 years in high school, it was over in a flash. Although the study of Yanj has always been at the end of the crane, it is not the last one to hold back. Between Qin Chen's pile of gifts, the class teacher is quite satisfied with Yanj's performance. At the last farewell party in the class teacher specially appeased Yanj and studied hard every day. Compared with the gentle class teacher, the physical education teacher is a little too much, and he directly clicked and sang the song of Ning. When Yanj was taken home by Qin Chen, there was still a little Neza in his mind. Hemp eggs. This is probably a dark history she can't recall. High school is irretrievable, and Yanj hopes that his college life will no longer bear the name Little Neza. So after the holiday, every day, Qin Chen fancily removed her bracelets and ankles. However, every petition ends in failure. This Qin beast did not like her so much as he imagined, otherwise he would not be willing to step back. Really, it looks like a guy who will live a lonely life. Yan Ji didn't play well during the holidays. She was taken to the company by Qin Chen, and her name was to let her go out for a leisure time. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1175. Fortunately, Qin Chen's office is on the entire floor. It contains not only an audiovisual room but also a fitness room, reading room. Yanj scrambles in several rooms every day, which is not boring. But in the last few days, she felt like her belly had been eaten again, and she had been falling all the time. Because of this, she was embarrassed about everything. Probably because she was nagging and Qin Chen looked very anxious. He hasn't been to the company for the past few days, and he has been holding the words and never left his body. He has been adding words to songs almost all the time. As if she was terminally ill and dying, This guy could not wait for the whole person to stick to her. Yanj was held so tightly by him, and he was all uncomfortable, but was moved by this guy's passionate towards her, and he did not kick off. But gradually, Yanj found something wrong. Several times when she was lethargic, she noticed that this guy's tail was trying to touch her leg. She knew that the beast still had a little bottom line, and she wouldn't really treat her when her estrus period came. But he behaved abnormally these 2 days, and his mood was not the same as usual. Was she trying to make a copy before she died? Yanji was afraid that he would make something of a brutal nature, so even when he fell asleep, he didn't dare to take off his pajamas, and was always alert. But it is difficult to prevent thousands of home thieves. Yanji's spirit was not good at all, and he was constantly alert for a few days before he became completely weak. He fell asleep to sleep sweetly and blackly, almost without knowing personnel. When she woke up, a beast-shaped Qin Chen became a human being, and her clothes were torn clean by him. She nestled in his arms, his big hand rubbing against her chest, and her tail wandering below her belly. Words of song. Does this guy want to return to her before she dies, or is it because of the estrus? After all, I have endured it for more than 3 years, and now suddenly, Yanji didn't really think about him. She is more inclined to estrus this guy. When the orc is in estrus, many things will be involuntary, and he will be very considerate. Thinking of this brain whole world, although his identity is his daughter-in-law, but one person and one beast have not really happened any intimacy in the past 3 years. Therefore, after a moment of choking, Yanji actively reached out and touched Qin Chen's neck, and his lips were also brought up. Qin Chen was startled. He suddenly let go of the song and rolled back like an electric shock. Fortunately, the bed was so big that he didn't fall to the ground. Words of song. Rarely did she take the initiative once, but this beast reacted this way, and it really hit her pride too much. How can this be done happily? Qin Chen looked at the aggrieved eyes of Shang Yanj, and hurriedly used his tail to appease the body of Yanj. You can't, now. Yan Song rolled his eyes. This guy has always determined that she can only do that when she is in estrus, but she is extremely sure that her current body is personal, not a beast. If this guy was to wait for her estrus, he might have to wait until the year of the monkey. Qin Chen saw that the tears were rolling out, and he got close to Yanj and reached out to help Yanj wipe the tears on his face. Don't cry, you really can't now. Yanji raised his eyes and stared at him fiercely. Why not? If this guy dared to say such things during estrus, she would have beaten his third leg. Qin Chen, you have come to menstruation. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1176. Words of song. What? Menstruation. Suddenly remembered that she hadn't been menstruating for so long since she came to this plane. She also thought that her special constitution was insulated from menstruation such as torturing women. Unexpectedly, this guy has been brewing for 3 years. Yanj finally knew why his stomach was so painful and uncomfortable. I don't come once every 3 years, and I have tossed Yanj about half a month. She lay in pain on the bed. Even Qin Chen waited for things like eating and drinking. At the beginning, the words were a bit unnatural. After all, this kind of thing is too embarrassing, especially Qin Chen is very attentive, from time to time to check her blood. She was treated like an experimental little white rabbit, and she couldn't wait to stare at her bleeding place. But gradually, the song calmed down, and she found that Qin Chen's expression was more tense and uncomfortable than her, and she was always in a tense state, as if she would hang out at any time. But it's just menstruation. What's so nervous about this beast? Yanji feels uncomfortable, so naturally there is no extra thought to guess Qin Chen's psychology. After her menstruation finally passed, one day at midnight, Qin Chen picked her up from the bed and took a hot bath for her. Yanj sleeps in a horrible mood. During this time, Qin Chen has been waiting for her, so she didn't think much about this hot bath. But soon, Yanj discovered the difference between this hot bath and the old days. Qin Chen's hand has been moving over her body, still twitching there. He used to spit on her face, but this time, the spit drove downwards. Yanj can't sleep, reach out and hit him, don't make trouble, sleep. Qin Chen hummed twice to answer, but didn't stop his movement. Until it was completely swallowed by this beast, Yanj still couldn't react in his arms. Why are you so anxious this time? Suddenly stunned her. Yanji was tossed out of sleep, reached out and pushed him, don't you wait until my estrus arrives? Qin Chen had a full meal, and his body was very lame. He slobbered when he heard the words, stupid, now is your estrus. Words of song. Don't worry, Qin Chen's hand was soothing on her back, resume your body for one night first, and start tomorrow, I will satisfy you well, fight once and let you have several cubs. Yanj, it's as if she's hungry. Qin Chen said this, thinking of tomorrow's dinner, his heart suddenly moved, he bowed his head and kissed the face and lips of his daughter-in-law, muttering, many, many, many. Yanji raised his hand to cover his face, unable to stop it, but could only hold back his saliva and asked, what kind of beast are you? Let her have so many puppies, would not be relatives of pigs. Hey, she's a human. Humans are already very cow-born twins, and they are pregnant more, and it is not good for her, even if she can conceive, she would not dare to have a baby. Qin Chen tilted his head and thought, I don't know. Yan Song, you don't know what beast you are. Qin Chen, I lived too long, I forgot. Words of song. She suddenly remembered that she had forgotten what tree she was. Life is long. It doesn't matter if you can think of many things. The important thing is to live. She stunned in Qin Chen's arms, then you talk about what kind of animal I am. Qin Chen held her tightly and said with satisfaction, you are my little female. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1177. This answer seems to be fine. Qin Chen kept his words for 3 years, but it was so easy to wait for the estrus period of the words, how could he easily pass it on? He talked, and he did not toss any more this evening. But the next day, even when it was Yanj drinking porridge, he held Yanj in his arms. When the two people's bodies were connected and not separated, let alone the usual time. He downloaded a bunch of good-looking episodes in the animal world. This time, just in the living room, he had a good time with Yanj. Yanji didn't understand Qin Chen. This TV was specifically for her. She thought that this guy was addicted to TV and couldn't help himself, so even when doing that kind of thing, he watched TV for fun. She can be regarded as a heroine in this brain hole. The advantage of this kind of female lead is that no matter how tossing, it won't break. She was tossed in the room for a month by this guy, and she really did not leave her all the time. She felt bad every day, however, a month passed and she was still intact. For a month, all the energy accumulated by Qin Chen was gone. He is rare and hungry. Although I felt that I could do another 300 rounds, but I was really hungry, Qin Chen could only endure that desire and went to the all-donkey banquet with his words. Except for the side 3 years ago, Yanj is the second time to see this unlucky boss again. This time, Yanj was much calmer, sitting in the seat all the way, staring blankly at the ferocious Qin Chen who was eating opposite. The boss probably didn't expect to see the living Song of Songs, and smelled a strong and ferocious breath belonging to the beast in the Song of Songs, and immediately understood that the beast had a female. Maybe in the future he will bring his children and grandchildren to come to his small restaurant to dine. Thinking about that picture, the boss was stunned, and naturally, staring at Yan Ji's belly and watching it many times. Calculate how many pups can be born from this belly at one time. Yan Ji didn't know what he was thinking. He thought it was because the tentacles were too painful, so she asked for comfort here, so she persuaded Qin Chen, eat less, don't eat this shop. Qin Chen didn't speak. He was chewing in his mouth. Although his eyes were dark and screaming at the words, the cheeks were moving, and he couldn't speak. Yan Ji looked at him like this and sighed, you eat his hands and feet, he hurts, can't you replace your food with something else? If he is an unconscious animal, he will be transformed, a wise old man, how bad is it to eat him like this? Qin Chen stared at Yanj. Yanj thought he was reflecting on what he said. After swallowing the food in his mouth, he said to Yanj, although I eat him, I also cover him. Without me, he died long ago. Yanj, this guy is not a little ashamed in his words, and he is justified. After the song, the reaction to the hindsight came too much. After all, this guy is a beast, and the beast has a beast. The rule of survival is that she is too magical to say such a ridiculous word. Qin Chen had a full meal and was in a good mood. He took Yanj to his office, and it was all day long. The energy of this beast is really good. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1178. Yan Ji was tossed with sweat, and when Qin Chen helped her take a bath, she said lazily, my college report time is almost up. In a few days, she will report to college. She now counts time every day, and can't wait for the day to report. She felt that if she did not remind, the beast might never remember it. Don't go, Qin Chen said, you are still in estrus, when you go to school, you will be smelled by other beasts. He didn't want the sweet smell of her to be smelled by other beasts. Yanj, what is the relationship between menstruation and estrus? How many times have I spoken with you? I am human. Unlike you, I am really a person, not a beast. Swallowing the beast helplessly and indulgently rubbed the head of the song, good, wait until the estrus period is over. Be good, Yanj wants to get angry. But he couldn't beat it. So when do you think my estrus will pass? Will it delay my studies? I'm pregnant, and the estrus period can pass. Qin Chen comforted the song, it's not important to study, your body is the most important. Words of song. You mean that I can't be pregnant, we two have always been like this. While talking, Yan Ji also squinted somewhere where the two were connected. Qin Chen nodded, be assured, I will let you conceive a cub. Song, he. Before conceiving a cub, would this guy grind the iron pestle into a needle? She didn't know, but she felt that her land had to be plowed sooner or later. Hemp eggs, how could this beast have such terrible thoughts? Qin Chen did it when he said it. Before Yanj became pregnant, one person and one beast had always been at home to make things, no matter how Yanj protested, it was invalid. When Yanj became pregnant, she was still unaware, but Qin Chen had already noticed, so she no longer touched her, and only carefully treated Yanj as an emperor's waiter. The song of a pregnant woman has an appetite, and she wants to eat whatever she sees, and she won't eat anything. Because of this, Qin Chen eats in the kitchen for almost 10 hours a day. Yan Ji did not know why there was so much food in his mind. Every day he opened his eyes and wanted to eat. When he closed his eyes and slept, he dreamed of eating. Eat all the time. But no matter how much she eats, she doesn't see a big belly and big breasts. The mouth is like a bottomless pit. You can eat all day even holding white rice. Slow it, no one will grab it from you. Qin Chen was not interested in these meals, but every day watching Yanj eat with interest, and raised his maggots. Every time he saw Yanj eat, he was eager to grab it and eat it. If it weren't for Yan Ji's stomach, he would have to give way. He wouldn't be able to restrain himself. Because of this, every time I cook for Yanj, Qin Chen will leave half in the kitchen. When he can't bear watching Yanj for dinner, he immediately returns to the kitchen and sweeps the food for a second light. Later, there were 2 sets of cutlery on the table. 1 person and 1 animal are sitting opposite each other. Once the food is served, 1 person and 1 animal are in a state of burying their heads and no one cares. Can be regarded as 2 veritable rice buckets. Yanj is hungry all the time, and she has no intention to go outside. Even if she goes shopping, she still holds all kinds of snacks in her arms and doesn't stop her mouth. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1179. After experiencing a song that is always in the state of a hungry ghost, I realized that Qin Chen suddenly understood something. Are you the same as me when you are hungry? She can't eat takeaway now, she can't eat all the food outside, and she can only eat with the food that Qin Chen makes by herself. Because of this, she used her own person to feel that Qin Chen used to eat a whole donkey feast before, which may be a last resort like her. Tough work for you. Qin Chen didn't understand that his daughter-in-law was pitying him. He rubbed the top of her soft hair. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat? I'll do it for you. Yanj touched his flat stomach. I want to eat stewed pig's feet, and I want to eat sunflower seeds and peanuts. Okay, stewing pig's hoof is a bit more troublesome. Qin Chen first fried melon seeds and peanuts for Yanj. When Yanj was holding TV, he was busy stewing pig's feet in the kitchen. Both he and Yanj can eat, so the kitchen pan has been replaced with a super cauldron. Yanj jumped to the animal world and immediately shouted to Qin Chen, Dad Qin, your favorite animal world has been updated. The words Qin Dad made Qin Chen like it tightly. It sounded so intimate, but much better than father. When he heard the call of the words, the corners of his lips bent immediately. It's nice to have a daughter-in-law. He responded quickly, oh, I threw the trotters in and out again. Yanj, hurry up, I'll pause now. Qin Chen's ears moved, listening to the sound of TV outside, and he was happy in his heart. His little daughter-in-law is really nice. He didn't want to give his daughter-in-law when he was controlling the remote control, but now he can think of him when he controls the remote control, but it is much better than him. He must be better to his daughter-in-law in the future. When he was thinking like this, he raised his hand, his nails soared by more than an inch, poked his hand to his chest, scooped out a piece of meat and threw it into the cauldron with the trotters, and then covered the pot. He used to do this kind of thing, so even if he dug out his own flesh, he didn't even frown. Only after covering the pot and pulling the clothes, and clearing the blood, did he turn his head and walk out. But just turning, he lifted his feet and paused. Yanj stood at the door, looking at the seemingly stupid human-skinned beast in front of him. Had it not been for her own eyes, she couldn't believe this beast. No wonder he was wearing a nightgown while lying next to her at night. No wonder he looked so pale recently, and even if he tried to pretend, he could see that his spirit was a bit weak. She thought he had tossed him like this because she was pregnant and eating. It turned out that it was not for the sake of tossing. Yan Singer grabbed the doorframe, her lips clenched tightly, staring at Qin Chen without blinking. Only after knowing it later did she realize that she really didn't understand him at all. Qin Chen walked over and sang Yanj in his arms, the trotters have been stewed. Go, let's go watch TV. But I didn't think about explaining what just happened. Yanj reached out to lift his clothes. As soon as his hand touched the clothes, he held his back with his tail. Little Song he bowed his head, pecked her lips, and said cautiously, there is too little food on the planet. Our cubs need nutrition. You can rest assured that I will be fine. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1180. Yan Ji stared at Qin Chen's pale face. I don't know if it's a psychological effect. She felt that Qin Chen's face seemed whiter, white without any trace of blood. Just in her midst, Qin Chen's tail rolled her up to the sofa and sat down, turning on the TV and watching it with interest. His hands embraced Yanj, and his tail stroked his long hair. Yanj looked up at him. The guy explained the sentence and left the matter behind. As if he didn't think it was a big deal at all. Her mind was messy, and she suddenly remembered that many females would eat males when they became pregnant, and many young animals would eat physically weak females when they were born. The law of survival of the fittest in the beastly world is far more ferocious than the plant world. Perhaps in Qin Chen's view, it is quite normal for him to do this kind of sacrifice for his children. Yan Ji suddenly thought, after her cub was born, the cub's first thing would not be to eat her, right? Would Qin Chen stop her if she wanted to eat her then? Or was she left to eat for cubs? Yan Ji was not interested in watching the animal world. Although she was staring at the big TV screen, her thoughts were messed up. Afterwards, she settled and asked Qin Chen, "How long will I be born?" Qin Chen stared at the TV and replied, "I don't know." The expression on his face didn't seem to be a fake. Well, it was the first time he was a parent. This guy didn't even know he was an animal, how could he know how long it would take her to conceive? Yanj, then you can't give me meat like this every day. Can we think of another way? I need to be pregnant for 3 to 5 or 10 or 8 years. By then, the cub is not born. Your meat is dug up. It's okay, Qin Chen said, I have a lot of meat and nothing will happen. Yan Ji does believe that he will be fine, after all, this is his brain hole world. He said he was okay, so there would be nothing wrong. But she always felt a little embarrassed, which was an uneasy mood that she couldn't even speak for herself. She is a tree that likes stability. This brain hole plane is different from the last 2 brain hole planes. Everything from the beginning seems to exceed her expectations. So after a brief silence, she asked, "Does this child have to be born?" She didn't want to give birth anymore. It always feels like the child is an accident. Whether it is the process or the result of childbirth, it may be out of her control. Qin Chen put her hand on her stomach, "Stupid, of course the child must be born." Yan Ji frowned, no longer refuting. Qin Chen's tone was so affirmative that it made her understand that it was probably Qin Chen's most hopeful thing for her own daughter-in-law to have children. The reality could not be achieved, and it could only be reflected in the world of the brain. Knowing that the pig's hoof was stewed with Qin Chen's flesh, there was no difference between the pig's hoof and the pig's hoof, but when the pig's hoof was brought to the table, Yan Ji held the pig's hoof and could not bear a little resistance. She does not have diarrhea when eating these foods, and she likes them so much, perhaps because it is mixed with Qin Chen's flesh and blood. This thought made Yanj hit a stir. She remembered that a spider named Black Widow would eat the other half after mating with the other half. With her current trend of crazy eating, will she also wipe out Qin Chen in the future? As soon as this idea came out, Yanj's heartbeat was almost fast. However, it was impossible to stop the trotter. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1181. Yan Ji looked up and narrowed his eyes, and Qin Chen was also scratching his pig's feet. This guy eats very cruelly. He first chopped up a pig's hoof, then he threw the remaining bones into his mouth, and swallowed with a few clicks. When she gnawed a pig's trotters, he could gnaw, and swallowed all her bones. The thought of these delicious trotters will be swallowed by others no matter how good they are. After eating and drinking, Qin Chen was dragged out of the house for a walk. Too much brain supplementation has made Yan Ji unable to feel better. Walking along the way has always been a state of depression. Qin Chen asked her, "Are you hungry?" Yan Song shook his head. "Boring. I bought a new game console and sent it to the company. Otherwise, let's go to the company to play games." Yan Song shook his head. Qin Chen paused, his tail wrapped around Yan's waist, held him in his arms, bowed his head, and met Yanj. "What's wrong?" Yan Ji said nothing, and reached for his clothes on his chest. He pulled his clothes apart, and his chest was full of scars. The sting wounds dug in the morning were still seeping blood, and accumulated on those scars, looking ugly and disgusting. It's too late for Qin Chen to pat the opening song, and he pulled his clothes with a smile. "It's ugly, don't scare you." The words are silent. His injuries were all in the heart. So the flesh he dug is his flesh and blood. Even if he is a huge meat, how much flesh and blood can he have? How long has she been pregnant now, and he has had so many injuries to his chest, that his heart must be hollowed out when she gives birth. Knowing that this is his brain whole world, completely virtual. It can be said that Song's mind is still blocked. She held down his hand. "What else can I do instead?" Qin Chen shook his head. "I won't die. I need to teach him how to survive when I'm born. I have to teach him how to survive. I have to teach him how to find gold, little Song. I won't die. Don't worry, we will have many, many children, and you will be at risk if you are pregnant. I don't pay much for that." Yan Song rarely heard the beast's long story. This guy is always a lazy mansion. It's okay in front of her. Anyway, there are still a few words. If outsiders are really silent, they can be silent. If they can't speak, they won't speak. To say so much today is like a miracle. She believed what he said was true, but still couldn't calm down. Is there really nothing wrong? Qin Chen nodded. "No." Yan Ji reached out his hand, grabbed his neck, and kissed him on the cheek at the end. "I knew that you had suffered this way. I wouldn't be pregnant, and we would be just as happy without cubs." Qin Chen didn't answer, his lips were tilted, and his eyes were full of smiles. His little daughter-in-law is really stupid. How important is the cub? That is the bloodline inheritance, the product of his and her mating. As long as the male and female are together, there must be a cub. No matter how Yanj protests, Qin Chen hasn't changed what he eats for Yanj. However, he has done something more concealed and not let Yanj find out. Every time Yan Ji talked about the food he made, the more he talked about it, the more he knew the bottom of his heart, and it must be that he put his heart and flesh in it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1182. It's too embarrassing. Yan Ji can't help but eat those foods, and therefore, the heart is even more uncomfortable. After 3 or 4 months of pregnancy, Yan Ji asked Qin Chen to buy equipment that can be used for 4-dimensional color Doppler ultrasound. After observing with Qin Chen for a whole day, he could not tell whether it was an individual cub or a beast cub in the stomach. But Yanj thinks that because she can eat so much, it is unlikely that the cub in her stomach is human like her. It is estimated that it will be Qin Chen's trumpet version. I didn't show the shape for 4 months, I didn't show it for 5 months, and I didn't show it for 6 months. At 7 months, the clump in my stomach still couldn't see what it was. Yan Ji suspects that beasts such as Qin Chen may have a longer gestation period. But immediately, she thought of another possibility. When she was nesting in Qin Chen's arms at night, she was curious and asked, "Dad Qin, are you born with viviparous or egg? Is it possible for me to give birth to an egg? Hatching eggs, what can I do if I don't have large eggs?" Qin Chen frowned and thought, it shouldn't be an egg. Think of him as a mighty demon, no matter how difficult it is to be born. Yanj has already planned this for 3 years. At night I suddenly wanted to go to the toilet, turned around and watched Qin Chen was asleep, and then carefully bypassed Qin Chen. Since this animal was pregnant, Qin Chen has been digging his own heart, even if he never said it, but she felt that his spirit was obviously weaker than before. Yan Ji went to the bathroom and squatted on the toilet for a while. After knowing it later, a plop in the toilet seemed to have pulled her out. The whole stomach was so incomparably instantaneous. Yanj sighed, and then got up. She got up and glanced casually to see what the Big Mac pulled out of her, but when she saw Dong Dong in the toilet, the whole person was bad. She dazzled her. There was an egg in the toilet. Slap the big egg, no wonder it just clicked. Rub, rub. Yan Ji suddenly remembered that this was the egg she had laid in the 7th month of pregnancy, which was equal to her cub. But, just now the sound of is so loud. Will this egg break into the toilet and be broken? This egg wasted a lot of Qin Chen's heart and soul. When Yanj thought of the egg smashing, it suddenly hurt. I didn't care about getting dirty, I bent down and fished out of the toilet. Although it came out of his own belly, he entered the toilet as soon as he came out. After all, he was a little bit disgusted. Yanj held the egg under the shower and washed it for a long time. Then he looked at this big egg. Her belly hadn't swelled much since the beginning, and an egg was missing from her belly. At first glance, her belly looked as if it hadn't been different before. Yanj didn't notice that the egg was cracked. When I looked at it carefully, a sudden thought came to my mind, this egg is fried now, maybe it will taste very good. As soon as this thought came out, she suddenly felt that she couldn't hold her mouth. Scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Or zucchini fried? Stir-fried leek should taste good too. However, if the egg yolk is large, it should be more fragrant. But the pickling took a long time, and she felt that she could not wait that long. Might as well eat directly. I don't know if there are chives in the kitchen. I haven't eaten leek's scrambled eggs for a long time. This egg must be particularly fragrant. Yan Ji held the egg in both hands. When thinking about it, he went out of the bathroom and didn't return to the bedroom, but walked downstairs to the kitchen. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1183. Lightly fried chives are a waste of this big egg. Otherwise, stir-fry the chives with half of the eggs and the tomatoes and peppers with half of the eggs. Yanj went down a few steps, and Qin Chen's voice suddenly came behind him, Xioj, where are you going? Words of song. She didn't know why, at this moment when she heard Qin Chen's voice, the ghost staggered the egg in his pajamas, and he turned his head back to him when he heard, it's all right, I just want to go around the kitchen, you sleep, leave me alone, I'll be back in a minute. Qin Chen, are you hungry? Yanj rubbed his belly and was really hungry. Qin Chen didn't return to the bedroom. He walked downstairs to the side of Yanj, what do I want to eat, I will do it. Qin Chen did something better than she did. But this egg, Yan Ji, has a little bit of reluctance to share with Qin Chen. She thought that egg should be enough for her to eat alone. But as soon as this idea came out, she felt that it was not good not to feed Qin Chen. After all, this egg could ripen and fall, as if it had most of Qin Chen's credit. She swallowed alone and seemed a little selfish. But I really want to give it up, and it hurts. Yan Song frowned slightly and was still struggling. Qin Chen's tail suddenly appeared, and she rolled her hand holding the egg and kept it on her stomach. What's this? Words of song. This guy may not have seen something different in her clothes, so approaching her so quietly is to grab her eggs. Treacherous, sly, hemp. Yan Ji subconsciously grabbed eggs with her hands, but Qin Chen was faster than her and had a more flexible tail than her. Where could she grab Qin Chen? As soon as he grabbed the egg with both hands, Qin Chen's tail had already rolled the egg away. Yanj was busy holding his big tail, then mine, my egg. Qin Chen heard her say that, and was more curious, holding the egg in her hand and looking, where is such a big egg? Words, pick it. Picked up from the toilet. Qin Chen sniffed the egg under her nose. I always think the taste of this egg is familiar, where did you pick it? Yanj, do you eat in the woods outside? Let's eat it. This egg has a fragrant flavor, and it should really taste delicious. When Qin Chen saw Yan Ji staring at the egg with a stern face, she stretched her hands and went downstairs. How do you want to eat it? Words, tomatoes, eggs, peppers, eggs, fungus, eggs, chives, eggs. Qin Chen, okay. Yanj dragged his arm, don't add your blood this time, it should be delicious just by frying it. Qin Chen felt the same way. The smell of the egg was very strong. Qin Chen held the egg in his hand. If the taste of the egg was lingering on the tip of his nose, he wanted to swallow it and even swallowed it. After entering the kitchen, Qin Chen took out a large bowl and tried to scramble eggs. He then asked, when did I pick the eggs, why don't I know? This is his place. Which beast dares to lay eggs in his place? As soon as this thought came out, Qin Chen's action of gnawing eggs stopped. He lifted the egg and looked again. Yan Song, it's daytime today. Qin Chen, when you went out during the day, you kept riding on my neck without landing. Singing anger, voice anger, you don't believe me. Qin Chen didn't speak, and turned to stare at Yanj's belly. Yanj shrunk, and her hands emptied her empty stomach. What do you want me to do?